Hello, I'm Darren Magee, and today's question asks if I would outline the dynamics that go on in a relationship between a narcissistic father and his daughter. Now, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, please check out my other videos on mental health related topics and please consider subscribing to my channel. But just as a reminder, this video is not a substitute for support from a mental health professional, nor is it a tool to be used to diagnose someone. Now, just as a reminder, the common characteristics of narcissism include a sense of entitlement, being disagreeable, resistant, or sensitive to criticism. There's the need for admiration, a huge sense of self-importance, and of course a lack of empathy. And there are different kinds of narcissism, the most common types being the overt, known as the grandiose, or the covert, known as the vulnerable narcissist. For the sake of today's video, I'm going to be focusing on the dynamics between a grandiose narcissistic father and his daughter. So first of all, dad can be very possessive, which the daughter and indeed others may see as him being protective, being attentive, being caring, particularly whenever she's very young. But as she gets older, that protectiveness, that attention, it becomes more evident that it's really just about control, it's about possessiveness. Now this might look like, say, disapproval of friends. They're a bad influence on you. There's too much time spent with grandparents, with other relatives, whatever. Any boyfriends that she brings home, there may be open hostility or indifference towards them. They're the wrong type, they're bad lads or whatever. They will never be good enough for her. Dad will always have to approve. However, if she were to bring home a guy from, say, a family that may enhance or benefit him somehow, if he has prospects, maybe he's part of a successful family business or he's maybe studying to be a doctor. Now, even if that young fella is a complete and absolute monster, dad will insist he's the right one for her. Or there may be indifference towards the daughter. Perhaps all dad's time and energy is spent, say, on a son instead. With a narcissistic dad, it's not uncommon for there to be a boys are better than girls kind of thing going on, leading the young girl to believe that she is the weaker sex. She's helpless, she cannot make decisions, she needs a man to look after her. And this could be reinforced, especially if there are other males in the house, male siblings. They're free to do whatever it is they want, but she is always stopped, she's always challenged, she's always criticized, she's always punished. Other times it may even swing between possessiveness and indifference, depending, I suppose, on the mood of the dad or how well the daughter is performing or complying or achieving or whatever. Public events, things like school play, sporting events, musical performances, dad's there. He's in the front row maybe. He's clapping, cheering, laughing, all the rest of it. At home, he barely notices her. Any photographs of them together, any movies of them together, having fun, laughing, doing things together, usually find that there were other people present. It was part of a public event. There was an audience. Now, as a result of this, the daughter learns that love is conditional. She has to earn it. She can become quite fearful whenever it's withheld, whenever it's withdrawn at any moment. She feels she's only loved when dad is being praised or when dad gets to look good. Her emotional needs are never met. She will only really get approval through her results and through her obedience. Next, the daughter is held to impossible, unrealistic, unreasonable, and ever-shifting standards and expectations. She has to be the prettiest, the smartest, the most talented. She must always bring home the best results, the gold medal. Dad will tend to humiliate, belittle, punish her when she doesn't reach these impossible standards that he sets for her. This is because she is an extension of him. Perfect parents have perfect children. He lives vicariously through her talents, through her appearance, through her achievements. He must receive praise for having such a great daughter, and he must receive praise from her for being such a great dad. Any positive attention that she gets from him is very quickly replaced by neglect or abuse if there's either nothing in it for him or if she feels somehow. Quite commonly in narcissistic father-daughter relationships, the daughter's sense of self tends to be eroded away in childhood, and she can grow with like a fragmented identity, believing she has a purpose rather than an identity as such. Her hopes, her dreams, anything she has an interest in, It's going to be criticized, belittled, scorned. She may hear things like, "You'll never make a living at that. Others are better at that than you are. There's no future in that. Who would want to marry someone who does whatever that is?" And it will be done in a way that dad always knows best. It is in her best interest. And even regardless of her age or her achievements, even if she's long since moved on, has a family of her own, the narcissistic father will still be acting as if she is incapable of making decisions. Her choices will always be the wrong ones. And dad's arrogance, the insults, the belittling remarks, the unkind humour, can lead that girl as she grows up to focus solely on what she is led to believe are her flaws, her faults, her failures, her selfishness, her lack of morality, whatever it is. And again, as an adult, she may find herself always second guessing herself, excessively scrutinizing her own abilities, her own decisions, achievements, even her appearance. And in relationships with others, she may lack boundaries. She may lack assertiveness. Dad has brainwashed her to believe she's no right to have boundaries. He is the law. Assertiveness is being disrespectful. Self-respect, self-interest, she's led to believe that is being selfish. And the daughter may find herself falling into this constant defeatist kind of attitude, almost setting out to fail at anything she puts her mind to, and constantly seeking validation and reassurance from others. In other cases, she may become a perfectionist herself. She may have little to no resilience to things like disappointment or the ability to learn from mistakes, always competing to be the best and to be flawless at any cost. And this can often result in failed relationships, partners never really meeting on these unreasonable standards, opportunities being seen as almost like life or death missions. There's a lack of growth and constantly judging herself harshly. Now, if she meets someone who is good to her, someone who is good for her, she may be resistant, not really knowing what to do, particularly if she has been conditioned to believe that being loved means being controlled. And this can lead her to being vulnerable to being manipulated and abused by other toxic men. Another outcome could be constantly testing her partner. Remember Dan's mistreatment of her? That was disguised as care and kindness. The unkind humour, the belittling of her was often delivered with a smile. So she has learned to read people quite well, read their expressions very closely. She looks for things like building rage, displeasure, sometimes though misreading it in the sense it's seeing something like aloofness or fatigue as a personal rejection of her. And sometimes this testing of relationships can lead her to sabotage those relationships. Another outcome could be, if she were the father's golden child, she may grow up to believe that she is every bit as perfect as dad was. She's beautiful, she's desirable, she's intelligent, she is entitled. It is everyone else who's at fault for not seeing this greatness, just like dad blamed everyone else. She may hold her own partner, her own children to unreasonable standards, blame everyone else if they fail or anything gets in the way. Now, as I said earlier, the narcissistic father is often seen as being very caring by others. Now, if the mother is an enabler, she's always going to side with the dad, even if it's just for a quiet life. Dad's never unreasonable. He knows best. He's set in his ways. It's for your own good. You know what he's like. There will always be excuses for him. He will always be apologized for by the mother. The mother will be telling the daughter that she must conform just for the sake of an easy life for everyone else in the home. As that little girl grows up, though, if she speaks up, she sees him as the monster that he is. If she speaks out, she will be labelled as being ungrateful, being bad, being a wicked child. Other times, when younger, the narcissistic father may overshare things with the daughter about the mother, blaming the mother for all his misery, all his failures. Now, in cases of divorce, it was the mother who caused all the heartache, all the disruption to the family. He will be wanting the daughter to side with him always. And there may be little subtle things earlier on, like, painting a particular picture of the mother by saying things to the child like, "Don't be like your mum, don't be like your mother." And because of that attention that she'd been getting when she was very small, she may find herself competing with the mother for the dad's attention. when the dad is being cruel, when he's being unkind, when he is being distant, that little girl may believe that it's the mother's fault. Now, quite commonly, as she grows up, as she gets older, there is often enough insight there for her to recognize that she has been mistreated every bit as much as the mother was. Dad really was a monster. And with the help of a mental health professional, as well as healthy relationships with other people, it can be helped her to expunge those feelings of not enough. As I sometimes say, sometimes recovery from a narcissistic relationship, the recovery sometimes begins with, I deserve better. So they're my thoughts on the narcissistic father-daughter relationship. Now, I'm sure there's many things I've forgotten, so if there's anything you want to share, please use the comment box below. There have been some interesting conversations starting around these videos. If you like this video, if you find it helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel for future updates on mental health related topics. And until next time, thanks for watching.